Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are excited to be with us to launch Bus to Business 2020-2021. And welcome to the Kentucky Chamber's Workforce Center Bus to Business virtual program series. We are excited to have students, teachers, businesses, chambers of commerce, happy local Chamber of Commerce Day, by the way, and others tuning in for our launch event for the first live session. My name is Harper Smith, and I'm the manager of the Kentucky Chamber Workforce Center. I help direct the Bus to Business program, and we're so excited to expand this year's program from last year. We had one day of field trips across the state, but now we're bringing this program to students all over Kentucky for the entire school year virtually. Bus to Business is a statewide initiative focused on connecting students with employers. The goal of the program is to show students what career pathways are available to them in their own communities. Through this program, students will be given the opportunity to view virtual tours of businesses, learn what qualifications and steps it takes to achieve certain careers, and speak directly with employers about career pathways available in their organizations through live sessions such as this one. Before I introduce our speakers today, I want to thank our sponsors in this effort: the Kentucky Society for Human Resources Management, Kentucky SHRM, and AT&T, who are both wonderful partners of ours, and we always welcome their involvement in helping our programs, and we sincerely thank them for their investment in bringing classrooms to careers. I'd also like to thank the entire team at ULIMI for their partnership and support through this awesome virtual event platform. We pivoted our Bus to Business program this year to be a completely virtual program. All of our resources and videos will be housed on our website at kychamber.com/bus-to-business. This webinar is being recorded today and will be available to rewatch or share with interested students or businesses. Please participate in this poll here so that we can gauge our audience today. Let me launch this real quick. And just so we can see who we've got going on. Looks like we've got lots of school staff, businesses, chambers, a couple students. Awesome. Great. Still coming in. Looks like we've got a pretty good mix of everybody. Well, thank you all for being here, and we're so excited. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker to you all, Michael Rodenberg. Michael serves as the board of directors for Murakami Corporation Japan, as well as the CEO of Murakami Manufacturing USA Incorporated in Campbellsville. He has a bachelor's degree in Japanese from Brigham Young University and an MBA in global management from the University of Phoenix. Over the past 25 years, he has worked at several automotive component suppliers with assignments in Japan, China, and various locations in the US. Since joining Murakami in 2011, he has taken specific interest in helping young people make the jump from school to the workforce. He currently serves on the board for the Japan America Society of Kentucky and is the past board chair of the Kentucky Chamber Workforce Center. In November of this year, he will release his first book called Bridge the Gap: How Leaders Can Revitalize Broken Organizations. Our team has had the privilege of working with Michael for the past year as he served as the Workforce Center's board chair. The Bus to Business program stemmed from one of Michael's many great ideas, and we'll hear from him now on how this program came to be. Michael, you are on mute.
How about that?
Perfect. Thanks.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you. Good to go?
We are good to go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning. We live in unique times, and technology is amazing. I'm sitting here in a parking lot in Chicago, and thank goodness for 5G, so we could actually conduct this part of the session. As Harper mentioned, my name is Mike Rodenberg, and I have been very fortunate to be involved with the Workforce Center and the Bus to Business program. A little history about the program: it's been over almost a year and a half, and because of my responsibilities as a CEO, one of the things I love to do is go out and visit schools. And it was during one of these visits that I met with a principal of one of our local schools, and our company is actually located in Campbellsville, Kentucky, which is in central Kentucky and kind of a rural area of the state. And we have about 4 to 5 counties around us that we work with to recruit students to come and work for us. And so I had gone out to visit one of the schools and met with the principal. And as I was talking with the principal, I said, hey, why are you not coming to visit our facility? We're a manufacturing plant. We make exterior mirrors for the automotive industry. And it's a great opportunity for students to come and see that something different. The principal said to me, we would love to do that, but we don't have the funding. And, as a business person, I was a little bit taken back. I mean, why aren't we providing young people this chance to go and visit industry and businesses and other things to get exposure to what's out there in the world? Because here you are in high school and you're trying to figure out what you want to do next. And if you don't get to see anything, how are you going to know what opportunities exist? And so I was like, wow, this is crazy. And so I asked her, I said, well, tell me, how much money would it cost to actually get a group of kids to come on a bus and visit our location? And she said, it could cost up to $200 or $300. Well, in a school system, that is a lot of money. But for a business, it's not really that big a deal. And so for me to have maybe 20 or 30 students come visit my facility, I would be willing to pay that money any day. So at the time, Harper just mentioned that I was serving on the board for the Workforce Center. And we were actually having a board meeting, and we started to talk about things that we could do as a board to really help students. And I had just a couple of days before had this experience with this principal. I said, here's something that we may be able to do. How can we create an opportunity for students to go and visit businesses? And as we sat around the table, we started to brainstorm about, well, what are the different options? What can we do? And he said, well, if we could somehow get kids on a bus to the business, that would be a great thing to do. And that's how Bus to Business actually started. Now, one of the things that was unique about this opportunity is we're like, well, how do we make this happen quickly? And sometimes it's difficult to make things happen fast. For those of you that are in school systems, it takes time. You have to go through a lot of procedures. If you're on the government side, it can be even more tedious to get things done quickly. And so we decided as a group, I said, we have a great high school, Taylor County High School, that we have a great partnership with, and we do a lot of things with. I said, I bet if I talk to the superintendent and the principal of that high school, that they would probably work with us, that maybe we could create a promotional video. And so we took that idea, and within a matter of a few weeks, we had coordinated with the Workforce Center and the high school and our facility, and we created the first ever Bus to Business promotional video. And we decided as an organization, so let's pick a day to set aside so that students can go and visit businesses. And so after we created the video, we promoted it throughout the summer. And for the first time that we did it, we had over 1,000 students, and this was October of last year, that were able to go and visit businesses for the first time. And it was a great success. When I think about young people and the desire that many of you have to grow and learn and develop and kind of figure out what you want to do next, I just find it so unfortunate that we have not provided you the opportunities to see what's out there. And that's one of the things I love about Bus to Business, is that it's a unique program. This is a program that we're doing in Kentucky. It started here, it's grown, it's got a lot of exposure. And then all of a sudden we have this pandemic. And we were really excited about this year because we knew that, the first time we did it, we had over 1,000 students, and now we could take it to even just a larger group of kids. We had businesses that were excited. It just mentioned that SHRM and AT&T are sponsoring and helping with this because they saw the real benefit. The pandemic hits and we're like, well, what are we going to do? And one of the things that we started to do things virtually. All of us got used to doing things online. And here we are today talking about Bus to Business. And even in our company, one of the things that we're doing now that we didn't do in the past is we're videoing our processes. We're giving virtual tours so that students have the opportunity, even though you may not be able to get out of the classroom, or maybe even if you're studying from home, that you're going to have the opportunity to see what's out there. And that's what's so exciting about Bus to Business. Maybe you don't get on a bus. Maybe now it's a virtual bus, and you take the virtual bus to see a plant or maybe a medical facility or whatever it may be, so that you can get an idea of what's out there. We're so fortunate to live in a state that has a Chamber of Commerce with the Workforce Center that is focused on building bridges between industry, government, public service, and education, so that we can create opportunities for all of you. I love Bus to Business. It's one of my favorite things that we do as a group, and I hope that all of you can kind of catch the vision of Bus to Business. And if you are a local chamber, that you recognize this is a great way for you to build bridges between the local schools and the businesses. If you're a school and you don't have the opportunity, didn't realize that this opportunity existed there, please reach out to the local businesses and say, how do we do this together? And if you're a business, and we know now that we have such a great need for workers, that this is a way to get young people exposed to what you do. So from all aspects, Bus to Business is a great opportunity for people to get involved, to build relationships, and just help us move forward economically in the state. And so once again, I appreciate this opportunity. I enjoy so much talking about Bus to Business and working with those that are involved with it. And I'm hoping that this year that it will be even a greater, even though we're doing it virtually, there'll be so many more individuals that have the opportunity to participate in this program. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and just have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate his leadership and everything with this program, and so excited to bring it to you all another year. Next up, we will be hearing from one of our great sponsors, Patrick Smith. Patrick Smith is the Human Resources Manager for the law firm of Stoll Keenan Ogden, PLLC in Louisville. He currently serves as chair for the Kentucky SHRM State Board of Directors and has been a great partner as we have pivoted this program to be virtual. Patrick has held previous roles with the State Council as Director of Best Places to Work, State Conference Director, and Treasurer. He also served on the Louisville local SHRM chapter for 10 years, including a role as president in 2009. In addition to serving as the HR community, he has served as the president of the Kentucky Association of Legal Administrators for 2 years and was chairperson for the Worksite Wellness Council of Louisville Awards program. Patrick has over 20 years of progressive HR experience, having served roles in technology, healthcare, finance, and law industries. Patrick has a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from the University of Louisville and a Master's in Business Communications from Spalding University. He has certifications in coaching as a leadership skill, conflict mediation, performance planning and review, quality action and process improvement development. He maintains both professional human resources certification from the HR Certification Institute and is SHRM certified professional from the SHRM Association. Patrick will explain why SHRM wanted to get involved and why they decided to be a sponsor for this year's program. Welcome, Patrick. Thanks.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. Very excited. Echo Michael's complimentary about technology. I'm speaking to you live from Florida right now, and so this is phenomenal that we have this platform to reach out and speak to everyone today. Just quick introduction, what Kentucky SHRM is. It represents the Kentucky Society for Human Resource Management, and we are affiliated with SHRM, which is the Society of Human Resource Management. And we represent over 3,000 human resource professionals in the state of Kentucky. And we work with local chapters. There's 13 currently in the state of Kentucky in helping progress and move forward any human resource initiatives. And when I got an opportunity to speak to Beth, who you'll hear from shortly, about the Bus to Business program back in the early fall of last year, I could not hold back my enthusiasm to know that this was an incredible opportunity for KSHRM to be involved. Human resource professionals daily are challenged with meeting the needs of the talent in the workforce. And what better way for us to be involved in our communities, being connected with the schools, and helping develop early individuals in being career-minded, thinking about what they'd like to be. I know over the years, I've had an opportunity to go to some of the schools, mentor college students, high school students, and it's amazing. I still hear that age-old question of, what do I want to be when I grow up? And this program speaks volumes to the opportunity to give people a chance to look into businesses and see, for example, that there's so many different career opportunities. I work for a law firm, for example, and even though everyone understands that a lawyer is important in that function, we do have many, many support roles, including my role as a human resource manager, but there are paralegals, support staff, accounting, marketing. Without all that background support and careers helping these attorneys, the firms would not be successful. So we're extremely excited about it, to the point that we wanted to financially support the program. And we also were so excited that we want to make this an annual commitment and not a one and done deal on behalf of the Kentucky SHRM Society. So from that perspective, we cannot tell you that there's not a lot of motivation and support that will not continuously be behind this program. And this is not a one and done for us, by no means. I would like to say, in fact, that the program is so important that we submitted it to SHRM, the National Association, for a Pinnacle Award. And the Pinnacle Award is a very prestigious award given to local chapters or associations on the state council level to recognize their commitment and involvement in the community. Well, I'm very pleased and excited that we just found out less than 2 weeks ago that we were selected for that award. And that is a nationwide competition. There were 77 applications and only 12 throughout the United States were picked, and we were one of the 12. So again, this is a tremendous program. I couldn't be more proud on behalf of Kentucky SHRM to be a part of it. And we're here to motivate, we encourage businesses. We ask our human resource professionals to be out there, be connected, and make this program even bigger and better. So with that, we're just excited to be a sponsor and continue to be committed for many, many years to come. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick, and thank you so much for your investment in our program, and congrats again on winning the Pinnacle Award. Next up, we will be hearing from my boss, Beth Davison. Beth is the founding executive director of the Kentucky Chamber Workforce Center. The Workforce Center is part of the philanthropic arm of the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, the state's largest association advocating on behalf of business. Beth joined the Chamber in 2017 to begin building the Workforce Center as its only full-time dedicated employee. Since then, the center has grown to a team of 10 plus an intern and continues to expand their support to employers and efforts by building a stronger workforce. Beth is a lifelong resident of Kentucky, earning her undergraduate degree from the University of Kentucky, go Cats, and an MBA from Sullivan University. She has spent the last 10 plus years advocating for workforce in Kentucky and the nation's capital and aligning talent to the strategic plans of business. Beth was honored as a top 40 under 40 and named a top 20 people to know in human resources by Business First Louisville. Previous employers include Greater Louisville Inc., the Oliver Group, and Sullivan University. Beth also serves as the Workforce Readiness Chair for the Kentucky Society for Human Resource Management. Beth will outline the program of this year as compared to last year and all that the program will offer. Welcome, Beth.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Harper. Happy Bus to Business Day and happy Local Chamber Day to all of our local chamber partners that are in the room today. I want to start first by saying thank you to Kentucky SHRM and AT&T for their sponsorship and the comments made by Patrick about the continued support for Bus to Business moving forward. For the students in the room, you will learn that you know how we're always lobbying to get money to buy what we want? That never stops, not even in adulthood, when we want to do amazing things like Bus to Business so that we can work with you as students all school year. So thank you for Kentucky SHRM to giving us that opportunity in the future. That was really exciting to hear. So thank you, Patrick. You know, we all started somewhere. You know, if you're over 18 and with us today, think back to what was your first job? What was the first job that gave you that first paycheck, that gave you some of your own money so that you could buy what you wanted and taught you what work ethic was? And if you're a student in the room, have you had your first job yet? I remember mine was Subway. I was a sandwich artist. And what Subway taught me was not only could I earn my own money that would go beyond the $20 allowance I got for doing all my laundry and cleaning the house, but I could earn a paycheck to do what I wanted with. And it taught me the value of a hard work and how to just be in the world, that I could work hard and earn things. I've come a long way from being a sandwich artist, but that all came because I earned experiences along the way. And that is what Bus to Business is about. You heard from our board chair, Michael Rodenberg, who always puts it so well. Bus to Business is about going and seeing. And as someone that's in school right now, it is so important that you see experiences, that you learn what you like, and sometimes more importantly, what you don't like. And with Bus to Business this year, that's what we want to do for you. We know we live in a very weird pandemic world right now, where the field trips and the opportunity to get on a school bus and come into a business isn't an opportunity we have right now. But we don't want to miss this opportunity this year to support you, to teach you what experiences are in businesses, what career field opportunities are for you out there. And so that's what we're really going to work on this year, is give you that opportunity to go and see. I think, I'm getting all these first jobs in the chat. Keep it coming. I love this. So yes, like going and seeing what is so important. And I also want to say, if we really think about it, mentorship matters. And most of us who got anywhere in life got there because we had a boss or a friend, someone that maybe wasn't a parent in the business world, that gave us really solid and good advice. And that comes through connections of work and mentorship. And that's what these businesses that are working in Bus to Business, these employers want to give to you as students. They want to give you the opportunity to come and learn and see what's out there and give you really good advice. And I promise, as students, sometimes we get into experiences that we skin our knees on and don't like. And that's how I've found my way to my career, is trying things out, figuring out maybe what I'm not good at, and then learning along the way what I am good at. I was never one of those students who, just one of the few lucky ones that knew exactly what they wanted to do in school. I skinned my knees a bunch and figured out what I didn't like, but without experiences, I wouldn't have been able to work into position now that I really love. So join in with us this year in Bus to Business. And what you're going to get from Bus to Business this year is something we're calling Workforce Wednesdays. And so for all the educators and students in the room, please join us throughout every month. Up until now, to the end of the school year, we'll be pushing out Workforce Wednesdays, which will include live events like this, where it'll be less focused on a launch, but more focused on businesses and leaders talking about what's available within their companies, what career fields are available, what you should study, but more importantly, how much money you can make in these positions. It's also going to include, on the days that we don't have the live sessions and a tool as cool as this, we'll be pushing out videos that you can watch at your leisure that really looks at a day in the life of a business leader, so you can learn about that career pathway, or looks at touring different companies so you can really go and see what those environments look like that you could be working in. We're also going to be pushing out a lot of social media campaigns for our education friends, the students that focus on different career pathways. We're going to be pushing out baseball cards that will show you kind of the statistics and data and money and education that's needed within different important roles that we have here in Kentucky. And we'll be talking a lot about this year different earn and learn opportunities. As students, especially in high school, there's so many ways that you could be working now with a business and earning money and credit towards a future career or degree or apprenticeship that could be very much available to you right now. And those opportunities, those pathways are all over Kentucky. So we're going to be really pushing those out to you this year and just making sure you get that shot, that we as business leaders step up for you as students and show you what pathways are out there. We want to be with you. We want to support you. And we really believe in your future. But we know to believe in your future means as business leaders, we have to step up and show you what career opportunities are all about. So for the students and teachers this year, please join us. Please sign up for Bus to Business. If you're signed up on the Bus to Business link, which we'll put in the chat in just a second, you're going to get all this information sent to your inbox, so you'll know exactly what videos are coming about, what live sessions there are on the dates, and what different resources and tools you can use in the classroom and as students that you'll get exposure and access to. If you're a business leader or a local chamber or a local SHRM chapter, we need you to help us get businesses on the bus so that we can show our future workers and our future generation of what the amazing career opportunities are in Kentucky as they start to exit high school. And as students, it's never too early to start thinking about your career and learning what you like and maybe what you don't like. And that's what we want to do with you this year. So happy Bus to Business Day. This one's for you. We look forward to working with you and learning and earning and growing with you this school year. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Beth. So like Beth said, after we kind of laid out the organization for the program this year, now we're going to hear from our first career spotlight, which coincidentally is ULIMI, which has provided this awesome virtual event platform. We're going to be hearing from Nick Dokich, the CEO and founder of ULIMI. ULIMI is an HR software company where they create smart software for the future of work. He sits on the Northern Kentucky SHRM board and guest lectures at Northern Kentucky University in informatics, University of Cincinnati Linder College of Business, and University of North Carolina Shefford Program for Entrepreneurship. He specializes in workforce performance, recruitment, and retention technology. The ULIMI team and he now works directly with frontline employees and executives to automate their HR processes and talent management. Welcome, Nick. You are muted.
It's my own technology and I like show up muted. Come on, guys, like just to show what happens to everyone. Thank you, Harper. Hey everyone, it's Nick Dokich here. So, this was in a different format. I obviously would probably make this a little bit more interactive, but I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of background on me and ULIMI and kind of what we do and, what some career paths are, for that. So a little bit about me, I'm from North Carolina originally. I went to UNC. Please don't hold that against me, especially during basketball season. We can both we can always gather around our hatred for Duke, so that's okay. But I went to UNC and I was a poli-sci major. I was actually a business school dropout is what I like to call it. But at UNC, you have to apply to the business school when you're a freshman in college while you're doing the prereqs. I didn't get in. I always knew that I wanted to do something in business. I remember my first entrepreneurial endeavor was me selling energy drinks out of my backpack in middle school. I remember staff stuffing a gym bag full of packing peanuts so the glass bottles wouldn't clink and the teachers wouldn't get me in trouble, all the way up to my first actual job, which was doing artificial turf manufacturing. So it was actually the water jet CNC portion of it. So there's a really high likelihood that if your high school and or college has a turf football field, that either I or the company that I worked for, we did the center logos and end zones. So I started in manufacturing at the earliest age possible in the state of North Carolina, which I think legally at that time was either 13 or 14 with your parents' approval because it was industrial manufacturing. And we would get these turf rolls like sent into us like rolls of carpet, and we custom fabricated a water jet that was 25 yards long by about 15 yards wide that you would pull this thing out, you attach it, and the water jet would cut the colors out in pieces, and it would number the pieces. And so, for instance, if you take the Ohio State field, which is one of the fields that we did, the center logo there, which is the O, you have a couple different colors. Even just the white part of the O is about 6 pieces, and then you have the silver and the black outlines. And so we'd flip those over, we'd use some industrial glue and glue that up. And ship that out. So we didn't do any of the installations. We just did the custom work for the center logos and end zones, which was kind of a really interesting thing to be part of at that age. What was most interesting about it was, one, I was able to learn under like one of my best and favorite bosses at the time, Chris Dixon. She was amazing. Really taught me hard work and dedication and what it actually means to run a small business. And also from it really, I think, started my, you got to remember at this time, it's just so weird. I'm like dating myself here, but Facebook wasn't out yet, right? MySpace was probably just on the scene, and the internet was still something that you pretty much only used for like Napster, as well as like AIM, and then maybe you Googled one or two things, like if that. But we didn't have we just had smartphones, I think, coming out then. We really were just doing text with the T9, all that stuff. And so it was interesting in manufacturing is when we first started working, we were able to do one football field in about 2 weeks. When I was done, which was like right around the end of college, we were doing about 2 football fields a day. And so we were able to like really look at that process efficiency from a technology standpoint and also from a human capital standpoint. I think that's what's really got me like very interested in the human piece of an operation. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit through college. I was a poli-sci major, which I don't do anything with at all. But what poli-sci taught me was how to write and how to understand where people are coming from. And at that time, I really still didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that I liked people. I knew that I liked talking. I knew that, I wanted to do something with people. But what did that really entail? Was I going to go down the route of like a psychiatrist or a therapist or a social worker? Or was I going to go like in this HR world, which sort of was brought up to me? One thing I want to mention that you can probably take from this is the book Strength Finder. So Strength Finder 2.0. I took that, I believe, like way after college. I feel if I took that when I was in high school, it would have helped me define what I was good at and helped me be more honest with myself so that I could figure out what career options, I could figure out what was important to me for a career and how to define that and how to focus on the things that I'm good at and not necessarily focus on the things that I'm not. So that's one thing that I think was really helpful for me to sort of guide my career, but I ended up falling into HR. And a little thing about HR, and I'm sure there's people that are HR practitioners on this call. HR is one of the most thankless positions in any type of organization. It is crucial to any operation, and it's also normally the most expensive. So at any point, I mean, you could you look at technology and manufacturing or anywhere across the board, where we see all of our gains in productivity normally happen sans people or process. They happen more in the technology world. Where HR should be focused on this people operations. And since when I first got into HR, there was no such thing as like culture or engagement or retention, which are all these buzzwords that get used a lot now. It was really just like, how do you keep butts in seats? And I worked with a call center, 24/7 hour operations. And I was on the phones. So I started on the phones answering complaints for a newspaper. I ended up doing some sales, doing a few other things in there in the call center world. And then the Christmas time hit, and there was this one client that was doing, just had a lot of inbound work, and the manager was overwhelmed. So I decided just to take my headset off, and I don't tell people to do this, but I just took it off and started acting like a manager because I knew that I could help people understand these systems. Previously, I worked at a car dealership, and they had like 1987 system that was very old. You have to tab a lot. And so once and that was the same system in the call center for this particular project. So I was able to help people navigate that, which ended up speeding up every single other person around. So when you look at different types of roles and different things that you're doing in your career, there's a multitude of things that you can do within the same vertical or same organization or even a same skill set. And when you're sort of looking at what these things mean to you, you have to weigh the different options of like, what does the culture mean? Do I want to be in a big organization, a small organization? Do I want to have control over my time? Like some of these intangibles as well as some of these tangibles where like for me, and I'll get to this as well, as like I'm a huge proponent of remote work. I've only had one job that was 100% not remote since graduating college, and I hated it, and I got fired from it because I would show up at 8:58 when the shift started at 9, and they didn't really like that. But I got all my job done. But at the same time, I realized that was a type of environment that was not conducive to my success, nor was that conducive for the organization to get the highest amount of ROI out of me. So fast forward, going back to the call center, I worked, for about 18 weeks on the phones. Then I went to some managerial things. And then I was plopped this binder in front of me and it said, hey, I'm going to have you own this. And I was like, well, what the heck is this? And it was their culture initiative, which would look really good on paper, but didn't really have any teeth and wasn't really executable. So I ended up creating my own position. And I think what's really unique about what I've done in my career is that I've sort of just barreled through things, more so than like letting people guide me. I take the advice from the people that are in places in which I want to be in life. And then I try to apply that back to my life, and be able to, see where I can grow in that manner. So I ended up growing this department, which was the culture department, from myself to about 9 different employees. And along the way, I realized one thing about me, which is I'm lazy. Very, very lazy, and which is, I think, a good thing in some ways. I'm lazy and I have ADD, so I'm definitely a very typical millennial in that sense. For me, like, I had so much to do and so much to manage in this HR space. And, what can I automate? What can I do to make sure that this is faster, to make sure that I have time to do the things that I want to be doing, and the things that I need to be doing are already taken care of. So I ended up doing some mini automations. We also created like a internal Make-A-Wish Foundation. We did a lot of great things for this company. And one thing about me too that most people don't know is that I was actually homeless when I was born. I was born in Pittsburgh, where we moved down to North Carolina, and never really needed growing up, but always wanted. So definitely lower middle class. But I think in a lot of ways I can, I've pickpacked before. I've done these quote unquote grunt jobs. And I've seen individuals that have skill sets that are also beyond those jobs that can be applied later on in the organization. And I feel like a lot of times when you're in some of these roles that are quote unquote, maybe more blue collar, you forget that those are actually viable solutions, and they actually are paying at a really good rate. Like, I'm a huge proponent of apprenticeships and trade as well. I mean, if you want to look into career options, going to be an electrician, which there's a huge, huge need for in Kentucky right now, as well as plumbing and a few other things, you can make a great life, from that type of education versus a college education as well. And so I just want to keep that in mind. Like, I think with my story, I want you to realize that there are many different ways to go about your overall career, but the thing that you need to focus most on is yourself, and be honest with yourself and what's good for you, and what's good for your future and what do you want to get into. And you can also hop ship. So little after the call center world, I went into 3PL, which is third-party logistics, which is one of the biggest industries in this area. If you don't know that, from northern Kentucky / most of the north part of Kentucky all the way down to Lexington, you can get to America by truck. Like, I think it's 95% of America in one day, 98% in 2, and the rest is Alaska and Hawaii, and that's by car. And so there's a lot of third-party logistics firms out here, a lot of warehousing, a lot of trucking, a lot of stuff like that. And these are great opportunities, for people to go get careers there. I worked in the HR department there, and I was doing more of a traditional HR role. I was recruiting. And during that time, someone would knock on my door, and I'm supposed to be HR. And HR's real role is to connect with the people, to make sure that the operations of the people side is going well, so that ultimately the company can do whatever it's meant to do, produce widget, do thing, whatever. But I realized that someone would knock on my door and I'd be like, crap, what do they want? And that, as an attitude, just sucks. And it's a terrible place to be in your career. And it's even more terrible when your job is supposed to be helping that individual with whatever issue it might be, but you're so inundated with other just crap like paperwork and all this other stuff that you don't have time to do what you should be doing, like what actually matters, and what's actually going to produce ROI for the company, not this piece of paperwork, right? And so that's where, going through my other HR background at the call center for a few years and this 3PL stuff, and this 3PL job is the job I actually got fired from, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. It was my last real career there, and I sort of butted heads, and I realized that in a lot of different organizations, some organizations are more progressive and more open than others are. And you need to be aware of all of that. And what I thought was discourse between me and some of the higher up execs was actually contention. And they really didn't appreciate the younger person coming in and sort of pushing some more progressive ideas on how to manage a workforce and do things like that. And that's okay. Like, that's something that I had to experience to realize that. And so, it was weird because, like, getting fired, you would think isn't a great experience, but I distinctively remember driving away from that company and all my just pressure just going away, being like, okay, wow, like, there was something in that organization that wasn't necessarily Nick that was causing an issue. And maybe Nick just wasn't right for that. I hate using myself in third person, but that's kind of how you have to think about it. And so that led me to a little bit into just forcing myself to start my own company. I've always been entrepreneurial, knew I was going to do it. But ULIMI came from the idea of, okay, there are things in the day that everyone has to do. We have to clock in and clock out. We have to track our time. But have you ever, like, for those who have used, who have been in other companies, I know some people have, McDonald's and some other, types of jobs that they've had, or even their current job right now, put it in the chat. How long does it take you to clock in and out of your job? Because I bet you it takes you probably around a minute or 2 minutes. If you have 500 employees and you are spending 2 minutes clocking in and then 2 minutes clocking out, and then obviously if there's a line as well, how much time are you wasting per week? And so I started doing these equations in my head. It's like, well, how can we make a system better? And at that time, and I can't say her name because she's behind me, but A came out, the non-Google version, right? The Amazon version. Hello, Amazon. She was coming out and I was like, this is the next generation of how we're going to work. I can finally talk to software. And so ULIMI was bred out of this idea of conversational design and making chatbots and bots that handle all the low value interactions, so that frees up the human being to do what the human being it should be doing, right? Which is like connecting with people, doing all these other things. But there's a lot of paperwork and inertia in business that you can automate, right? And so we try to figure out what makes sense to automate. So one of our products actually is we've done a chatbot for the Kentucky Chamber for the Workforce Development Center, and it's called Heidi Hires, and that's helping individuals who have lost work or are searching for work search for jobs faster and do it in a better way. And you can, we're even looking into doing it like via text message and stuff. And so one of the career paths for you, so ULIMI in essence creates smart software for lazy people. So we make software packages. We have a Click 360 workforce performance module. We have, we have this platform that we're speaking on right now. We have a Reach platform, which is instant text message engagement. It'll actually send daily health checks for COVID, as well as mental health checks. So you can check in on your employees and be more prescriptive with your time. So this is it's the precipice of like the new evolution of human computer interaction. Now, people will look on the outside of our company and say it's an AI company. And AI is such a loaded term. And like, we do consult for Google. I'm on with Google even before this call. I was on Google and I'll be on Google right after it. We are based in Covington, Kentucky. And it's very odd, in my opinion, to have this type of company not in a Silicon Valley or a Boston or a New York or a Chicago. But for me, it was very important. And we were over in Cincinnati. We made the conscious decision to move over to Kentucky because of my passion for manufacturing, my passion for specifically blue collar. And so I look at us as the blue collar software firm. We make software that works for you, not software that you have to work for. And the most rewarding thing of my day-to-day now as a CEO and running this company is seeing users that have been in the industry for 50, 60 years, the old school guys who are running the operation, like use our software and love it and be able to have more time with their family, be able to like not be as frustrated at work because they're not waiting on a system that's just not working. I know everyone's probably been in customer service or retail or fast food or anything like that. When your system goes down, it's just crazy, right? And it's just very frustrating and it ruins your day. So what can we do to make technology that's accessible to anyone, that's as easy to use as your standard app? Or maybe we don't even need an app. Can I just talk to it? So now I can make a piece of technology way more accessible. So whereas previously, if you had to look for your PTO, say your child gets their leg broken broke their leg. That sounds really bad. So imagine your child broke their leg and you get a call, I get a call from my wife. Hey, so-and-so broke their leg. I want to take off. I have to go, I am on a manufacturing floor. There's no computer in front of me, right? I am walking around. I probably have my phone in my pocket. What I have to do traditionally now is I have to go to whatever terminal or go to a supervisor's computer, try to figure out my username and password, which I don't know. Then I need to log in and I need to click about 18 buttons to figure out if I can take time off. Do I have PTO? So why can't I just ask a system like this and say, hey, how much PTO time do I have? And then can we make and design a conversational experience that is intuitive, that fakes, this is the artificial intelligence part of it. It's just faking intelligence. Hey, you have 20 hours of PTO. Would you like to take the day off? Yes, I would love to take the day off. So now we are anticipating the button click and we're removing a lot of those things. And that's what ULIMI does. One of the career paths for us, and for ULIMI specifically, the way that anyone gets hired is everyone starts as an intern. This company was built on interns, quite frankly, a lot of very, very talented, smart people working together on some passion projects and thinking about different ways of how we can work better and be faster and more resilient. But what we've landed in is, and this was about 4 years ago when we started doing this, there is now a industry for conversational design. So for all of you that are listening in high school or anything, I would like for you guys to Google conversational design. If you're allowed to pull out your phones, I don't know what the rules are anymore, but look that up. Look up conversational designer and conversational architect. And that's a lot of what we do in our consulting capacity is you probably know about a chatbot. You've probably also messaged a chatbot. You've probably also called in a customer service thing and said, try to talk to one of the IVR systems that's really terrible, that can't understand anything. Well, the conversational designer adds that human piece to the bot experience. So what we do is we try to figure out how a user is going to say, like, I want my PTO balance. How much PTO do I have? Do I got PTO? What type of PTO do I got, right? See all these different variations, the way you can speak it, that gets programmatically uploaded into different platforms, like the Amazon platform, the Google platform, a few others. And then the developers will take that data, grab it, and then put it into the bot. But the conversational designer, the conversational architect is the person who's curating all that. Like, think of it as like the person writing the play or writing the steps and being able to like really build out that persona and that personification. And the real cool thing about this career path is that it requires no additional education that you can't get off of the internet. It's such a new field that there is no actual like collegiate education, and there's no certifications for it or anything like that. It's really just, how would you want to text a bot? How can I make this bot experience better? And there's obviously a lot more like in that as well. And so like I want to really promote the ideas of apprenticeships, of trades, of skills, and all that, as well as you can get a really good education on things through the internet. Now, that does provide some other issues. Like, for instance, I had to teach myself conversational design for about 2.5 years before we really even got any money for it at all. So that's a huge risk that you're taking. Now, it's something that you could do while you're doing other things too, potentially. And maybe that's something to think about as you're going through your career options, is the job you take today does not need to be the job that you have tomorrow. But make sure that each one of these jobs are either, growing from an experience level, or you're realizing the things that you don't want, which I think is something that Beth mentioned as well. And like, learning what you don't want in a career is just as important, if not more important, than learning what you do want, because you can live with not getting everything that you want. You can't live with the things that you can't live with. And being honest with yourself is all going to set you up for success in the future. The other thing I wanted to mention too is like, now, like one of the good things that COVID has done is forced us to adapt to this virtual world. It does have its pitfalls. It does have its shortcomings. But what it does allow for is more remote work. You in Kentucky can go search for that job in Boston. Those companies are now more open to remote work. You in Kentucky can go like apply to someone in California. So you can get out of the state as well from a remote work perspective if needed. But I also want to reiterate that the opportunities within the state are vast. And ULIMI really and truthfully wants to be part of the ecosystem to help employ Kentucky and grow Kentucky's workforce. And our ultimate goal would be to give like the everyman, the Joe six-pack person, Friday back, give them more time back with their family. Because at the end of the day, we have great technology and we have good processes. When we marry those up and we allow bots to take control of the things that we don't want to do, the paperwork, the inertia, the back-to-back trying to schedule things, that types of things, that frees us up to be more strategic and more creative and more thoughtful, and overall better for our companies, better for ourselves, and better for our families. So as you can tell, I'm like very passionate about, workforce in general, because I think that a lot of times, even when I was growing up, you see the music videos, you see the rich people, you see all this, like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want this, and how do I get there? And when you don't come from a background of wealth, when you don't grow up with a trust fund, when you have to work extra hard for what you get, it is extra work. Right. But it's also more rewarding and you come out better on the end. And I want people to not forget that trades are viable and lucrative jobs. There are plumbers making $100,000 a year. There are people that drive forklifts making $100,000 a year in the state right now. I know it for a fact. I've seen the data. Like, these are things that you wouldn't normally think about, and you probably would never expect a person who runs an AI company to tell you to think about, because I should be saying, oh, go into technology and do all this. Like, no, figure out what you like, what you don't like. You like working with your hands, find the job that makes you the best at working with your hands. I'll give you an example. I have one of my best friends in the world. His name's Andy. He barely graduated high school. He wouldn't be mad at me saying that. We joke about it a lot, but he was always a bartender and barback. So he was a barback when he was 14. Then he went to bartender. They started working at country clubs. Right around 2021, he decided that he had a knack for bartending, but what could he do to make that $30,000 a year bartending job get to more of a career $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year that he can actually maybe have a family in? And so what he did is he started honing his skills. He started getting different certifications, and then he found a company. It was actually a hotel group that was growing and expanding and needed his type of talent. And he's now he is the bar manager of one of the top bars in Charlotte, North Carolina for this brand. And he's actually flown to Amsterdam and the Maldives and all these other great, he was in California for 2 or 3 weeks. But what he did is he took himself in the industry and he accepted the fact that a bartending job could be a good career if he's smart about the way he tackles it. So similarly, I want you guys to think about that and think that through, and do not shortchange the McDonald's jobs, which can lead to a manager position making $65,000 a year. Do not shortchange the manufacturing jobs. And these are the jobs too that these are what the American dream is actually built on. And this is how we continue to keep Kentucky, moving forward and progressing. And we do that in tandem with technology, right? The technology supports how we work. And that's ultimately what, we're looking for and what we're doing. And so, I strongly encourage you to look into conversational design, especially if you're a heavy texter or interested in any type of UI, UX design. That is the new frontier, voice design and conversational design. And for those who aren't as interested in going into that tech field, I strongly suggest you look into trades and other types of apprenticeship programs that are also backed by the government, and other ways that you can, tackle this and create these in careers and speed up your progression, and think outside of the idea of college. And I read this yesterday, and I want this is important for my generation, but I want you guys to hear this too. This came up on Reddit yesterday. So millennials, people who were born between 1981 and 1996, make up the largest share of the U.S. workforce, but we control only 4.6% of the total country's wealth. So the median age of 32 today, we just control 4.6% of U.S. wealth, far behind 21% of the boomers who had that generation before. And this is also a lot to do with college debt, coming out of debt from college, and all those other types of things. The average when you leave college, the average amount of debt you have is $35,000. So you need to take that into consideration when you're planning your future career goals, because payments on those types of loans can also stifle what you want to do in the future. If you want to buy your house, if you want to go get that new car, other things like that, keep these things in consideration. And there's other ways to have successful careers than just going to college. And I think, Harper, I will get off my soapbox now. I'll stop there. See if there's any questions or anything.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, if anybody has any questions for Nick, please put them in the chat and we'll have him answer those. Thanks so much, Nick. That was awesome. Was there something kind of fun you wanted to do with the thing behind you?
Yeah. So are we ready for the little raffle?
I think we're ready.
Okay, cool. So you guys can see an actual operation of something that, we've built. Put this in perspective. When I built my first skill for her, it took me about 4 days. This is something we kind of did really this morning. So let's hope it works. But what we did is we took the attendees list and we randomized it. And so she's going to randomly pick a winner. And Harper, tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's the Apple AirBuds. Is that
correct? Got them right here.
All right. Sweet. So whoever the winner is that she picks, we will be sending those earbuds to you guys. So thanks for watching, and let's see if this works. If it doesn't, it's a live demo, so don't blame me. We'll blame Jake, but go ahead and give this a shot. Let's see here. Alexa, give me the Bus to Business winner.
Your winner is Jennifer Cobb from Hardin High School.
So that was Jennifer Cobb from Hardin High School. All right, so Jennifer, I believe we probably have your email, so we'll be reaching out to you to get the AirBods there for you. Thanks again, everyone. My name's Nick Dokich. You can Google me. There's not many Dokiches, so you'll probably find me. Yes, I think someone asked if I'm definitely available to talk to classes. It's just within my schedule, it's a little bit hectic. If you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I have a Twitter, I'm very bad at it. I don't check Facebook anymore, but I'm on LinkedIn. And I'll go ahead and put my email as well into the chat. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any additional questions about what ULIMI does or internships or anything of the like. Be happy to do that. And I also want to reach out and let everyone know, if there are things in your career you just want to ask some questions, I definitely will be available to help for that too. So thanks so much, guys. Thank you, Harper.
Thank you, Nick. Great job. Thanks. Thank you to everyone for participating in our launch event today. I hope you all learned kind of what to expect from the program this year. We're really excited to launch this program and start getting the word out and have more students get involved. Thank you again to our great speakers, Michael, Patrick, Beth, and Nick. This, like I said before, this is recorded and it will be housed on our YouTube as well as at kychamber.com/bus2business. Keep your eyes out for the weekly e-newsletter that will start going out next week, and that will detail that week's video sessions, including Workforce Wednesday information, career pathway stats, and Earn and Learn program highlights. Please continue to sign up schools and businesses in order to receive notice about these resources. Our next live session is going to be taking place on November 11th on that Workforce Wednesday. It'll be with Newlease Medical Solutions. We hope to see you all there. If you have any further questions about the program or how your organization can get involved, you can reach out to me directly at hsmith@kychamber.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. And thank you so much. And if anybody has any more questions or anything, I'll stick around. But thank you so much and have a great day.